We have a very special introduction to make tonight, a sneak preview, if you will. I'm standing here with the one, he's the only, he's the bee, he's the beast, he's Bob Sapp.
This American fighter combined a striking appearance and charisma. With his outstanding size and athletic physique, he was given the nickname The Beast, a thunderstorm in the Japanese promotions. His name is Bob Sapp, one of the most charismatic fighters ever seen. He was a football player who stood nearly 6.5 feet tall and weighed about 330 pounds, and who possessed enormous physical strength. He had a good career in professional wrestling and then kickboxing, which he retired from in 2018 with a record of 12-19. Today, we will recall the ups and downs of Bob's professional kickboxing career and analyze the most spectacular fights of the American known as the Beast. In his school and college years, Bob played American football, but after graduation, he did not stay in this sport for very long. A big role in his development as a fighter was played by his friend, sports radio commentator Mike Morris, who offered Sapp a chance in professional wrestling. Bob debuted in 2001 with the WCW, and it was in this promotion that he met famous former kickboxer Sam Greco, who saw Sapp's potential as a kickboxer and trained him. After Bob's victory on a boxing TV show, Sam Greco showed the recording of Sapp's fight to Kazuyoshi Ishii, the chairman of the world's largest kickboxing promotion, K1. Kazuyoshi liked the big and charismatic fighter. He soon invited Sapp to his organization. It was a turning point in Bob Sapp's sporting life. Bob's K1 debut match took place on June 2, 2002, in Japan against the local fighter Tsuyoshi Nakasako, who was an experienced kickboxer with 23 fights in the K1 organization. The Japanese fighter looked like a little boy compared to the American. After the gong, Sapp immediately attacked, and under the onslaught of the Beast, Nakasako soon found himself on the ground in the corner. Bob did not stop and applied 2 banned, powerful uppercuts to the opponent, who was already on the floor. The referee began waving to stop the fight, and at that moment, Nakasako, angry at Bob for breaking the rules, jumped up and attacked Sapp. Neither the referee nor the sound of the gong could separate the fighters. Bob was out of control. Sapp lost the match and received a disqualification and his first defeat in his professional kickboxing career. But he confirmed his nickname, The Beast, and loudly declared himself to the enthusiastic Japanese fans. In September of the same year, Bob Sapp entered the ring at the K1 Andy Spirits Japan Grand Prix 2002 final against French kickboxer Cyril Abidi, nicknamed the Bad Boy of Marseille. After the gong, Bob launched an attack and pinned the Frenchman in the corner and began landing powerful hooks. Abidi missed a few incoming powerful blows and could do nothing more than turn his back and cover himself to prevent damage. The fight continued and the Frenchman got a good low kick but was knocked down with a powerful uppercut from Bob. It was seen how much stronger the blows from Sapp were as he continued to hit with hooks. As Abidi bent down to defend himself, the American slammed 2 hammer fists onto the back of his head. He chopped Cyril to the ground with these blows and added another one to the fallen opponent. The coach of the French fighter stopped the fight at the beginning of the 2nd minute. The Beast wins his first victory in K1.
The Beast has been eating a whole lot of beef tongue, and the only last beef tongue he wants, he's saving for last. And that's a very big, very rare Ernesto boost.
Just 2 weeks later, Bob Sapp fought again at the opening of the K1 World Grand Prix 2002. His rival was the well-known and decorated Dutch kickboxer Ernesto Hoost, nicknamed Mr. Perfect. The Dutch fighter was a 3-time winner of the K1 Grand Prix, as well as the world champion in kickboxing and Thai boxing. He was a big star in the K1 promotion and had lost only one of his last 23 matches to Jerome Laban. After the gong, Bob rushed to attack his enemy with a hail of punches. After several counterattacks by the Dutchman, Sapp slowed down slightly. He felt Ernesto's hard low kicks and began to miss more when they exchanged punches. But Hoost also missed some powerful hits from the American. Sapp compensated for the shortcomings of his technique with greater physical strength. Ernesto alternated delivering overhand right crosses with a lot of low kicks, and Bob began to limp on one leg. But then the Beast pinned Hoost in the corner and first hit him with a powerful right hook, and then with an uppercut followed by more hooks. The Dutchman was knocked down, and the referee started counting. Ernesto had a severe cut over his left eye, but was able to continue. As the fight went on, Sapp again pounced on his opponent with a series of hooks. Ernesto managed to deliver a few low kicks, but soon found himself back on the ground. After another countdown, the fight continued, and again the American pinned Hoost in the corner and started delivering repeated strong blows. Ernesto took massive damage and was only saved by the gong. For the second round, Mr. Perfect was not allowed to continue by order of the doctor due to a severe cut he had received. As a result, Bob Sapp scored a technical knockout victory over the promotion's star, which raised his standing. After 2 months, Bob Sapp and Ernesto Hoost met again in the quarterfinals of the K1 World Grand Prix 2002. After the gong, the American again charged his opponent, and Ernesto struck a dozen low kicks in retaliation. In their previous fight, his low kicks had worked well, and this was part of the Dutch fighter's game plan. In the exchange of punches, Hoost was also more accurate. Ernesto blocked Sapp's blows, but they were strong blows, and the Dutchman felt them anyway. Bob missed several incoming hard blows to the head, and after a series of uppercuts to the liver, he fell into a knockdown. Through the end of the round, Mr. Perfect continued to throw various headshots, liver kicks, and low kicks, and was way ahead in the strike count. Sapp was visibly tired and breathing heavily. At the beginning of the second round, Bob began to press again, but Ernesto skillfully counterattacked. Then there was a similar moment as in their first fight, when the Beast pinned his opponent near the ropes and struck a powerful right hook. The sound of the impact was loud. Hoost slowed down a bit, and a combination from Sapp of 2 hooks sent him to the floor of the ring. The Dutchman was shocked, but he got up and continued the fight. At first, Sapp tried to break Ernesto's defense with punches, but Ernesto survived, recovered, and began to counterattack. But the Beast takes strength from somewhere and hits with an uppercut, then clamps the Dutchman in the corner. In a repeat of the first fight, he unleashes a hail of heavy blows on Ernesto, and after several powerful hits, where Hoost's head dangled back and forth, the referee intervened and stopped this beating 7 seconds before the gong. Ernesto Hoost was very unhappy with this stop, and he immediately left the ring. The victory in this match was given to Bob, but he was unable to continue the tournament due to a broken arm and 4 broken ribs, which allowed Hoost to reach the next stage of the tournament and go on to become the champion of that K1 World Grand Prix in 2002. In March 2003, Bob Sapp fought Croatian kickboxer Mirko Filipovic, nicknamed Krokop. Krokop alternated victories with defeats and had lost 3 times to Ernesto Hoost. But then, he went on a series of 3 victories in a row and was famous for his deadly head kicks. Bob Sapp was sure that the Croatian would move quickly in the ring, and that is what happened. After the gong, Bob, in his usual manner, charged his opponent. Mirko met him with a left cross and then a hard middle kick. He follows the kicks with a couple of short but accurate hooks to the jaw upon an exit from a clinch. Krokop almost immediately delivers a left middle kick, followed by a left cross that strikes Bob's eye. Sapp grabs his eye, grimaces in pain, and falls to the ground. It was the second defeat for Bob Sapp. After this fight, Krokop did not fight as a professional kickboxer for 9 years, instead focusing on developing his career in MMA. After returning to K1 in March of 2013, Mirko, at the age of 38, became the winner of the K1 World Grand Prix, winning 3 fights in one evening. In August of the same year, Bob Sapp again entered the K1 promotion ring against an American fighter with German roots, Kimo Leopoldo. Kimo had a good career in MMA with a record of 9-3-1. And in professional kickboxing, Kimo had only one fight back in 1995, which he lost. Kimo started the round with a pair of front kicks. The Beast pressed the whole round, and Leopoldo tried to counterattack on the waist. Significant punches included a solid middle kick, a knee to the jaw from a Thai-style clinch, and some heavy right blows in the corner from Sapp. Kimo almost did not strike, but only defended himself. But at the end of the round, Leopoldo threw an average but accurate left hook that landed on Bob's jaw, causing his legs to buckle. Kimo then ran in to finish off and landed some good hooks to the head, but then missed an incoming cross from Sapp and fell himself. Leopoldo got up and again delivered a strike to the jaw, again buckling Sapp's legs and knocking him down. The Beast barely got up and was saved by the gong. A curious incident occurred between rounds. Bob's seconds called for a timeout, and Kimo thought Sapp had given up and moved to the center of the ring to celebrate. The second round began with Sapp pressing. Bob threw a heavy right hook to the back of the head and knocked Kimo down. Leopoldo didn't get up again. The hall buzzed with displeasure that the referee allowed Bob to win with an illegal blow. Bob Sapp's next opponent was Dutch kickboxer Remy Bonjasky at the opening of the K1 World Grand Prix in 2003. The Dutch Flying Gentleman was the winner of various international kickboxing competitions and was on a streak of 3 victories in a row. After the gong, Bob, as always, ran into his opponent and almost threw the Dutchman out of the ring. However, Bonjasky countered with a beautiful knee jump and a lot of kicks. In the second round, Bob did a good job in the corner of the ring where he landed a couple of effective blows, but then he was knocked down. Sapp got to his feet and was immediately met with an incoming knee strike. He charged Bonjasky, knocked him down, and delivered a powerful but illegal blow to his opponent lying on the floor. The blow shook Remy, and it took him a long while to recover from it. The judges decided to disqualify Bob for the illegal strike and gave the victory to the Dutchman. Bonjasky then moved on and became the champion of K1 World Grand Prix 2003. On New Year's Eve 2004, Bob Sapp again fought in the ring of the K1 tournament with Japanese sumo fighter with Hawaiian roots Akebono Taro. It was his professional kickboxing debut, and he had a successful career in sumo. He was the first fighter to be larger than Bob Sapp. Sapp worked as the aggressor, but retreated when Akebono pressed him. It is noticeable that in this match, low kicks and middle kicks appeared in Bob Sapp's arsenal. Bob was more productive in hand exchanges and threw about a dozen hooks to the head throughout the round. With another right hook, he knocked down the Japanese fighter. But he got up. Then, another 2 hooks went into Akibono's head, and he was back on the ground. The Japanese managed to get up, but it was a mistake, because Sapp immediately sent him into a knockout with a right hook, with only 2 seconds left in the round. Akibono did not have a successful professional career as a kickboxer, and out of 9 fights, he won only once. In March 2004, the Beast re-entered the ring under the banner of the K1 promotion. His opponent was American fighter Seth Petrozelli. This was Petrozelli's debut as a kickboxer. But in MMA, he was on a series of 6 victories in a row. Petrozelli started the round very cheerfully. First, a tight front kick, then feints with raised arms, a hard low kick, and finally, he dropped Sapp to the ground with a left hook. Bob got up again and took over with front and low kicks. The Beast began to put pressure, and Seth counterattacked well, but unfortunately injured his elbow on a failed strike. Petrozelli wanted to continue the fight, but the judges gave the victory by technical knockout to Sapp. Seth Petrozelli competed twice more under the rules of kickboxing and lost both times. The next rival of the American Beast was Tommy Glanville in April of 2004. The fight did not last even a minute. Glanville started the round with good low kicks that all landed on target, but then Bob landed a jab and pinned Tommy against the ropes, and from there, landed a left hook that was the last of the showdown. Glanville barely got up and then stormed around the ring for a while. At 33 seconds, the Beast scored another victory by knockout. 2 months later, Bob got into a fight with New Zealand kickboxer Ray Sifo, nicknamed Sugarfoot. He came to the K1 with 5 world championship titles and had participated in several dozen fights. After the gong, Sapp charged his opponent, and Sifo skillfully met him with hooks and an uppercut. Then the American knocked the opponent to the ground and inflicted several illegal blows on the downed fighter. Ray gets up and continues the fight. Early in the second round, Sapp again tried to dominate, but Sugarfoot countered him with an uppercut and hooks.
Kako je sašio levi kroše Ray Sifo.
There is a nice tie clinch knee from the American, but Ray's combination of a right hook and a right uppercut to the body ended this fight. Bob falls and the referee stops the fight. It was Sapp's 4th professional kickboxing defeat. After the fight with Ray Sifo, Bob didn't fight for a whole year. He treated injuries and improved his mental health. This pause was good for him, because on June 14, 2005, at the K1 World Grand Prix in Hiroshima, he won 3 victories over local fighters in one evening, and became the champion of the tournament. In September of the same year, he entered the ring against South Korean giant Choi Hong-man. The duel went the entire distance. After the opening bell, Bob began to press and stumbled into a hard left uppercut. This was followed by a good low kick from Sapp, which knocked down the Korean, but then was answered by a powerful attack from Hong-man in the corner of the ring. Sapp was leading the rest of the round, but Choi kept him at bay with jabs. In the second round, the Korean Colossus hit Bob's head several times, and at the end of the round pinned the American star near the ropes and carried out an aggressive attack with many hooks and uppercuts. At the beginning of the final round, the Beast carried out a good attack, but Hong-man effectively counterattacked with jabs and a heavy knee to the head from a tie clinch, that knocked Bob down. Later, Bob returned with a tight knee strike to the head of the Korean, and the fighters arranged a shootout with punches near the ropes, where Choi was more effective. Both fighters were very tired and were breathing heavily. Until the end of the round, they stood and did almost nothing. And, by a split decision, the judges gave the victory to the Korean Colossus, who remained an undefeated fighter. On the last day of 2005, Bob Sapp faced Japanese fighter Akio Mori, better known as Musashi. He was a four-time K1 tournament champion and a world heavyweight Muay Thai champion. After the gong, the Beast immediately began to put pressure on. Until the end of the round, Musashi struggled to lead the fight, inflicting combinations of crosses to Bob's head, but there were only a few significant blows. The first round went to Sapp. The second round, there was a good left cross and a middle kick from the Japanese fighter. Points were deducted from Bob for 2 forbidden heavy blows to the back of the head, after which the Japanese fighter could not recover for a long time. In the third round, Musashi began to take the lead, striking more. Until the end of the round, Musashi continued to bombard the American with different kicks and took this round. In our opinion, though, the fight was won by Bob Sapp, but the judges gave the victory by unanimous decision to the Japanese fighter. After this fight, Bob was not heard from for a year and a half, which did not benefit his career. In 2007, he lost to the famous Dutch kickboxer Peter Aerts, and in the autumn of 2009, he lost 2 more fights to lesser-known fighters. In November of 2010, after another year of inactivity, the Beast entered the K1 ring against experienced Swedish kickboxer Jörgen Kruth. He was a 2-time world heavyweight Muay Thai champion, but Bob wanted to get back on a winning track. Kruth, with his low kick, seemed to have awakened the aggression of the Beast, and he rushed at the Swede. He threw a lot of punches, but they did not reach the target. Sapp pressed Kruth against the ropes and runs into a knee that Kruth put out to defend himself. Bob falls, writhing in pain, and his corner throws in the towel. For Jörgen Kruth, this victory was the last in his career before retiring. The following May, in Budapest, Bob Sapp took on Hungarian super veteran Kunkli Tivadar. The Hungarian fighter had amazing statistics, 389 wins and 1 loss in kickboxing and Muay Thai fights. He started fighting back in the 80s and was a local star. Given his string of losses, Bob wanted to improve his reputation in this fight. Moreover, his opponent was probably the smallest fighter in Bob's entire professional career. The duel immediately began with active actions of both fighters. Bob Sapp rushed forward, intending to end the fight as soon as possible. But Tivadar skillfully went into the clinch. Sapp fell to the canvas, from which he could no longer rise. Four months later, Bob Sapp traveled to Germany, where he competed at the Stakos Fight Night tournament. His opponent was the 25-year-old European kickboxing champion Florian Pavic, who made his debut in this fight. After the gong, Bob pinned Pavic in a corner and delivered several powerful blows to the head, including the back of the head.
Ist Florian Pavic da ganz arg im Bedrängnis kommen jetzt wieder und dann wird er aus dem Ring geschmissen. Ja, wenn er mal am Mann ist, dann gibt es kein Pardon.
In the second round, the Beast again tries to press, but Pavic moved well on his feet. In the third round, Bob knocked the opponent down with a right hook to the ground. Then pinned him in the corner of the ring and landed about 5 heavy blows to the back of his head. The referee barely separated the fighters. Then Sapp slowed down, and Florian bombarded him from a distance with powerful blows, which continued until the end of the round. By unanimous decision, the German athlete won this confrontation. In October 2011, Bob's next bout took place in Romania against a local fighter, Alexander Lungu. He was a successful and decorated judo fighter, competed professionally in MMA with a record of 7-2, but he had not yet competed in kickboxing. After the gong, the fighters immediately entered into an exchange of punches, where the Romanian fighter was more successful. Lungu continued to attack the American with sweeping hooks and a powerful hit from the left. Sapp lost by knockout in the first minute of the fight. Alexander Lungu had a successful debut and built a solid career as a professional kickboxer, finishing with a 15-2 record. Bob Sapp was now on a 10-fight losing streak, and over the next 2 years he won once, and in that fight he was given the victory due to an injury received by his opponent in battle, and then lost 3 more times in a row. It seemed that Bob had forgotten how to win. In December of 2015, the American Beast fought in a rematch with Japanese sumo fighter Akebono at the Rizin Fighting Federation 2 tournament. This fight was held according to the rules of shoot boxing, where throws and standing submissions can be used. At the beginning of the round, Bob hit Akebono with hard punches. After one of them, a cut appeared behind the sumo fighter's ear. Until the end of the round, Akebono tried to drag the American into a clinch, and Sapp fought back well and delivered a lot of blows to the cut area. This pattern continued in the second round. The fighters grappled in the clinch, and the Beast inflicted damage to his opponent. At the end of the first minute of the second round, the fight was stopped, and Bob Sapp was given the victory by technical decision. After this match, Bob did not fight for 1.5 years as a professional kickboxer. In the summer of 2017 in France, he lost by a technical knockout. And in January 2018, he went to his last fight in his professional kickboxing career. It happened in Turkey at the MFC 24 tournament against local fighter Selçuk Utubasi. The duel did not last even a minute. Bob, as always, began to press, but Utubasi hit him with several hooks on the way out. Then he landed a low kick, dropped Sapp to the ground, and added a finishing blow to the head. At this point, Bob refused to continue. After this fight, Bob Sapp retired from kickboxing. This video is a summary of the career of professional kickboxer Bob the Beast Sapp. He finished it with a negative record, and many fans will say that Bob was not a true fighter, and one who also fought dirty. But he was also remembered by everyone, primarily for his charisma and his ability to spin fights, using the image of a big and powerful beast. What he lacked in technique, he made up for with his powerful punches. He left his mark on the history of the development of professional kickboxing and mixed martial arts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and sign up for notifications so you won't miss our next video. See you next time in the ring.